The Leominster City Council meeting is funded in part by DeCarolis Insurance Agency at www.decarolisinsuranceagency.com and by Avidia Bank at www.avidiabank.com.
I have edits on both, but the 14th
Pauline will knock
is...
it over, but that's okay.
Just tell her to count her candy on the right side and not on the left side. Just tell her to count her candies on the right side of her folder, not the left side.
They don't count them, they sort them
So,
by
sorry,
color, and then by size of the stacks. That's how you know which ones.
Go time, well, I computed.
Does it have to be on the left?
It's go time, yep.
Okay, good. You may throw hands.
Good evening, everyone. This is a public hearing on Communication C-8. My name is Sue Shalafu Zephyr, Chairperson of the Legal Affairs Committee, along with Council Robert Tossi and Council Pauline Cormier. So the public hearing on C-8, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the City Council vote to approve the attached Veterans Tax Work-Off Program. We had a public hearing on 8/11. There was an outstanding question for the comptroller, and we got information back from the comptroller, so I think we're good with that. So I will ask if anyone on the council has any questions on C-8, or any comments, or wants to speak in support or against it. No? Council Tossi, all set?
We got an email from Jennifer about they can't be worked off the,
Offset against the tax bill.
sure, so we're still good with this, though.
Absolutely, that was the question. Mr. Votor, who was here with us, had raised the question about could whatever people earn be offset against their tax bill? And the comptroller said no, because it's considered income. So it has to be given to the person who works it off in a check form with taxes withheld. So that's where we're at. So we've got an answer, so, you know, I think I'm good. Council Pauline Cormier.
I'm fine with this. I think the issue that we had in the past was, and it wasn't just the veterans, it was the seniors tax
Correct.
program. So I think if we go forward with it and we have any pamphlets, that needs to be explained outright, up front, so people understand it. I think that's where the confusion came in with the other people that tried it. So I'm in support of it, would like to see it expanded. I think we just have to make sure whatever the pamphlet or the handout, or if we put it online, however we do it, it's explained to them that it does come in the form of a check, and then they have that option to turn it over to the treasurer's office.
Councilor Noseworthy. Yep.
Thank you. Just echoing what the ward councilor to my right just said, and I think I sent the comptroller an example of such a pamphlet. The thing for me, especially being a veteran myself, is that there are no surprises. That this sounds like a great program, but we make sure veterans and their spouses are aware of all of the great things about it, but about that, yes, there won't be state taxes taken out, but there will be federal taxes taken out, so they can, if they have SNAP or other benefits that may be impacted by taking in some more money, that they don't unintentionally disrupt those other benefits.
Good, thank you. Okay, any other questions? Councilor Frida.
Yeah, I understand what Jen is saying, that, as I said at the last meeting, over almost 20 years ago, I worked with John Richard to try to get all the kinks worked out of the senior tax rebate program. And that was one of the main issues, there were people getting a check, and then they weren't paying the taxes, and then at the end of, when it was time to file taxes, they didn't know they had to do it. So this is something that the DOR has suggested, and it has to be done that way. They don't have to take out state taxes, but the point of it works to get their tax obligation down by doing the work. So I'm fully in support of this.
Great. Council Noseworthy.
Yes, thank you. One last question. Should the two veterans on the council recuse ourselves, or do we not? I just don't know how that...
I think they're just a minimum part of the total population, so I don't think we have an issue with that.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure.
That's a good question, but I agree with the council president. I don't think there's any
Perfect, thank
need
you.
for recusal, yeah. All right, so if there aren't any further questions or comments from the council, I'll go to the public. Is there anybody here who would like to speak in favor or in opposition to C-8? Oh, okay, thank you. Message received. All right, is there anybody else? I'll ask 3 times. Is there anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to C-8? And finally, is there anybody who would like to step up and speak in support of or in opposition to C-8? Okay. Seeing none, my recommendation would be to close the public hearing.
Okay? And we just have a few seconds till the interview. I suppose you can step up to the table now, preparation. Okay, it's 6:30.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Pauline Cormier. I'm the chairwoman of the Ways and Means Committee. The other 2 members of my committee are to my left, Councilor Frank Ardinger, and to my right, David Cormier. Mr. Hasselman, welcome.
Thank you.
This is on C-9. Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the confirmation of Corey Hasselman to the position of Veterans Director for the City of Leominster for a term of 3 years, effective September 2nd, 2025. I certify that said person is qualified to perform the duties which will be required, and I make this designation solely in the interest of the City of Leominster. Welcome, Mr. Hasselman.
Thank you, Councilor.
I'd like to offer you the opportunity first, before we get into any questions, is to introduce yourself, give us a little bit of an idea of your background and what interests you in this position.
Of course. Thank you, Councilors. Good afternoon. My name is Corey Hasselman. I'm a Marine Corps veteran. I enlisted in 2007, medically discharged at the end of 2009. I've been in veteran services for a little over a decade now, serving in nonprofit sphere. I created my own nonprofit called Frost Call. Well, I helped create with another Marine Corps veteran. We've been in that service for 6 years. I am the Director of Veteran Services for the City of Gardner currently. I've been doing that for 4 years. Running 6 towns. Our most recent town that joined the district was Winchendon. I'm a father of 2 and a husband. So.
Thank you. Can you tell us a little bit more about, and I saw that on your resume, is Frost Call. What is that?
So Frost in Marine Corps Reserves was fast response over short transmission. So me and another Marine Corps veteran who was in communications decided to create a nonprofit with a focus in the Boston, Massachusetts area, with video games as a nexus. So we use video games to kind of draw in, not necessarily just the younger crowd of veterans, but not the VFW, the DAV. It's not just the bar. There's more to it. It's we use video games as a way to pull in veterans, and instead of being like, where did you deploy? What was your services? Hey, what's your favorite video game? And then once they get comfortable through that, they end up talking about, their service because they have a nexus with you already. So they create that connection. And then that leads into, improving their mental health and well-being because now they're talking about things they might not have talked about with someone who's not a veteran.
Nice. So what would inspire you to make the move to Leominster?
So I love Leominster. I've been a resident of Leominster. I currently live in Gardner, but when I was younger, I was a resident here as a child. I went to Leominster High for a few years. I went to Southeast before it changed names. I got hit by a car over on 4th Street. So I've been in Leominster many, many years. I've always had a connection to the city. And when I became a veteran service officer, one of the first people I met was Rick Votor. He was a mentor and a guidance in what a veteran service officer should be and who they could be. And I kind of strive to fill that role. And I think what better place than, the legacy that he's leaving is to kind of help, continue to lift and move it forward.
What do you see as the biggest difference between Gardner and Leominster as far as veteran services?
I think every city has its challenges, of course. Right? So Gardner is a smaller city, so we have a little bit of a not as diverse of a population when it comes to the veteran community. We don't have as many veterans because the population is smaller. If you count the entire district, that is Wachusett District, the veteran population does rise, but a lot of those towns are very small communities, so there's not a lot of veterans. So the reach is smaller, and I think the biggest thing about Leominster is how much reach you get, right? You can reach a ton more veterans and you can assist more, right? And that's all I want to do is be able to touch and help as many veterans as possible. You know, any veteran that walks in that door, I don't want to give a no. I want to say, here's how we can help, right? And this position would allow me just to help more. And I know that there's troubles in Leominster that I might not necessarily be aware of, but I'm looking to learn those and find ways to help facilitate those.
Okay. I'm going to open it up first to other members of my committee, so I'm going to go to Councilor Ardinger.
Okay, thank you very, very, very much. Corey, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
In advance. I was impressed by your resume. There's only one small discrepancy, but you know, I'll forgive you for being a Marine. Okay.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, Rick warned you, huh?
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues I see with veterans today is that the younger veterans tend not to reach out to anybody, and this Frost program seems like a great idea. Have you had a lot of success with it?
Yes, sir. In Massachusetts, we have about 600 members, which obviously isn't tremendous, but when you look at the unfortunate declining population of the other organizations, the VFW, the DAVs, the Legions, that's huge growth and outreach. And then those 600 members, obviously, they have their communities, right? So this past Saturday, Tav, my admin from Gardner, she's actually here. She's a member of Frost Call as well, and they were at the 104th in Westfield, and there was 1,400 people there. 1,400 young veterans still actively serving, you know, and this is that bridge that some of those other organizations can't bridge just yet.
Could that be focused? I know it's, you know, the Massachusetts focus, but you know, how can we bring that down to a local level?
So our main focus is in Boston, and that's just because that's where the founder was, and that's where we store our gear, because we bring video games to events, right? So like the Veteran Center here, Rick and I have already talked about how it would be a great place to hold events. We could have, you know, the VFW, the DAV, the Legion have tables, the AMVETS, Blue Star Mothers have tables there because they're all using that center anyhow, and it'd be a great way for those younger vets that we could bring out with the video games to connect those other organizations that they might not necessarily, they might be a little hesitant to reach out to. I know from myself personally, I'm a chapter commander for the Disabled American Veterans out of Worcester. I had hesitation when I got out of the service. I wasn't necessarily jumping to those organizations because you hear the horror stories about it's just a way to go get a cheap beer. That's not what those organizations are anymore, right? They have steered from that. They understand that that's not what the younger veteran wants. What they want is for us to go to Capitol Hill, fight for veterans' benefits, and increase, you know, what we earned, right? Make sure that we're getting the best that the nation can offer because we deserve it, because we signed on that dotted line. So bridging that gap is exactly what I would love to do with Frost Call.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to talking to you more when we get together. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
All set.
All set. Thank you.
Councilor Cormier?
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions other than your resume is pretty impressive.
Thank you.
And I certainly look forward to your confirmation and working with you when you come aboard.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
I'll open it up to any other members. Councilor Frida?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Welcome, Corey.
Thank you.
I've been involved with veterans over 50 years in this community and many veteran service directors. And one of my concerns is that it's the veteran first before the veteran agent, trying to be everything to the rest of the community and the rest of the state and be everywhere to everybody. And I did make quite a few phone calls because I wanted to be sure, you know, we were in the right direction. And You know, I got nothing but glowing reports from you, and I know members of the interview committee were also very supportive. But one that really struck me was, and I mentioned it earlier to you, was Robert Mayer, who was the Director of Veteran Services for Mount Wachusett Community College. And I figured he would have interaction with you, being in Gardner. And he said we couldn't find anybody better. So that was good for me, and I welcome you and wish you well.
Thank you, Counselor.
Any other counselors?
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
I guess I also want to echo a little bit of what Counselor at Large Ardinger had mentioned. I think that there is something about getting younger veterans involved, so I'm really excited about the program that you haven't seen it expand. I also think about myself being a female veteran, outreach to female veterans, because I think young veterans, yes, it's difficult to engage, but especially I think female veterans as well. I was thinking about this just the other day. Many times male veterans will wear hats and things to designate, but I don't often see a female, wearing that same designation. So looking forward to sort of seeing outreach for female veterans, but also for family members. When I was at the Department of Mental Health, I would see a lot of kind of cross-pollination of people who sometimes they could access the VA, as you know, and others cannot access the VA, and civilians don't always know that. They think if you've served, you can access the VA. So I'm really excited because of what you've done in the past to kind of see what we can do and where we can grow, again, for the outreach for both the younger veterans, the female veterans, and then for family members where the veteran may not be in a place to want help, that spouse, or if they have a child with special needs or anything like that, that you can help refer the spouse. So I'm really excited to see you come on board. So welcome and thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Any other counselors? Any questions? Mr. Houseman, thank you very much for coming in tonight. You are welcome to stay for the entire meeting. We'll be voting a little bit later on.
Great.
I will ask the president if he would see fit to bump up the nomination a little bit earlier in our agenda. But if we understand, if you have any plans, any other plans, you're free to go. But otherwise, we hope you stick around and we get this done tonight.
Yes, ma'am. Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselors.
Thank you.
Okay, Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr, we're back to you.
So this is a public hearing on petition 4-26 before the Legal Affairs Committee. My name is Sue Shalfo-Zephyr. I'm the chairperson of Legal Affairs, along with the Ward 1 Councilor Robert Tossi and Ward 2 Councilor Pauline Cormier. Petition 4-26, Glenn Eaton, Executive Director, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, request to amend the zoning ordinance to add the MFOD to the abbreviations table for overlay districts in Article 3. So tonight is our public hearing, and I see we have a representative from MRPC. So we did get a referral back from KP Law, but would you like to tell the public briefly what this is about?
Thank you, Councillor. Good evening, Councillors. It's nice to see you all again, and you, Councillor, nice to make your acquaintance. I'm Joseph Boyle from the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission. I'm before you tonight on a very minor zoning matter. Last year, when you adopted we worked together and produced and you adopted the multifamily overlay district in compliance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts MBTA Communities Act. There was one small, almost typographical matter that we overlooked. At the front of your zoning, you have a table in which you list all of the overlay districts, and we added the multifamily overlay district to that table. You then have a second table of acronyms of the names of districts, and we did not add MFOD to that table, the list of acronyms. So I'm before you tonight to add the acronym MFOD to your table of acronyms.
Great, thank you. I will go to my committee to see if anyone has any questions. Councilor Tossi, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay, Councilor Pauline Cormier?
No, thank you.
Okay, anybody else on the council have any questions about this? It's really housekeeping. Councilor Frida?
Mr. Boyle, just real quick, who's driving some of these recommendations for zoning?
Oh, this one, the assistant planning director spotted this oversight and brought it to our attention. So that's where this one came from.
basically a typo.
The Scrivener's error. Yeah.
More or less a Scrivener's error, it's just this side of a typo.
Right. Okay. All right, anybody else on the council have any questions for Mr. Boyle about this? 4-26. Okay, seeing none, I'll go to the public. Is there anyone who would like to speak or have any questions about petition 4-26? For a second time, is there anybody who'd like to speak in opposition or in support of this? And for a third and final time, would anybody like to speak on petition 4-26? Okay. Seeing none, we do have our referral back from KP Law, so my recommendation would be to close the public
Okay.
hearing.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Mr. Boyle.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chair.
All right, moving on to 5-26.
5-26, Joe Pandolfo, on behalf of Golden Nozzle Car Wash and Noria Energy, 468 Main Street, Leominster, Mass. Request a petition to obtain an underground fuel storage license for a total of 3 1,000-gallon underground storage tanks for heating at the Golden Nozzle Car Wash located at 468 Main Street. We were unable to obtain a natural gas service from National Grid due to a street opening moratorium placed on Main Street by the state of Massachusetts. The state will not allow us to excavate or disturb the existing asphalt paving on Main Street. Therefore, we were forced to switch our fuel source to propane. Eastern Propane has been contacted to supply the underground storage tanks. The City of Leominster Fire Department and Deputy Chief Brian Young have granted a 2,000-gallon permit for underground storage. The fire department has also allowed Eastern Propane to set an additional underground 1,000-gallon tank on the site on the condition that we obtain the agreement from the fire department along with a plan showing the location of the 3 tanks. This was referred back to the Leominster Fire Department. We do have that referral back. And we did have the plan and the document that is referred to in this, the Leominster Fire Department agreement. So I will go to my committee. Councilor Tossi, do you have any questions?
No, not at this time.
Okay. Councilor Pauline Cormier, do you have any questions?
The only question I had, and I think I know the answer to, so there was no other options for them. This is the only option that they had.
That is my understanding per the fire chief.
Okay.
Any councilors? Councilor Frida?
Yeah, were they aware of this before? Is this built yet? Or is this in the process of being built? Or we have nobody here from this company? No representatives?
No.
Because we raked a local oil company over the coals on propane storage in this city, and I'm just curious as to what the storage situation is here, and I understand the fire department is supportive, but did they know this ahead of time, I guess is what I'm asking? Do we know if the building's up?
I don't. And Councilor Robbins?
This specific business is already operating. I'm almost 100% sure. Just
They're switching over.
the heat for the building, I don't think is working. But I have a similar question to Councilor Frida's, just about, what was the plan if we don't move forward with this, and how long does the moratorium last?
On opening
Their street.
Okay. I don't know. So, I mean, we did get the referral back from the fire department. The fire department has been working very closely, the deputy chief, Mr. Young, and they support this. But I'm happy to invite Mr. Pandolfo from the Golden Nozzle Car Wash to come down and answer questions if people would prefer that.
I would really like to know when they knew that they weren't going to be able to connect, when the building went up, when they knew that they weren't going to be able to. I mean, we all know that you can't dig up the road after it's been resurfaced, so there had to be some kind of a clue. So I just think there's a few more questions we need to ask, because we held up a company that has been in business in this city forever on storage.
That was a different situation. I mean, my understanding was that, well, the fire department didn't support it, is my recollection.
I don't think they were really against it on that one, but regardless, I mean,
Right.
to be consistent.
I don't have any problem with that. Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Yeah, So my issue is, they're applying for this permit right now, but they're open. The building is built. It's open, it's operating, it's doing everything. So that's my question is, what are they using for now? Is this already done and we're just approving it? Or are they going to have to go back in there, dig it all up again to be able to put in these storage tanks?
My understanding
Well,
is
they
they have a
can't dig it up.
plan. They have a plan to put in the storage tanks, and they have not yet.
Okay.
That's my understanding. But we can certainly, certainly bring them down.
It appears that they have the right currently to utilize 2,000 gallons.
Yeah, exactly.
It looks like they're looking for an additional
Sorry,
1,000 gallons of
Okay.
propane, which is what is triggering our involvement.
Okay.
So, I mean, whatever anybody wants to do, I mean, I'd be comfortable moving forward, but if people feel like they want to meet the owner,
Empty storage tanks.
Right. You know, according to some, Councilor Tossi just pointed out, it looks to me like they are installing the propane tanks, but they will remain unfilled until they get the
Okay.
permission to
And
have them
disconnected
full.
as well until.
And disconnected. They are unfilled and disconnected
Okay.
until they get approval.
I mean, yeah, we permit them. I mean, the fire department can advise them, and
Right. Right. So I guess with that said, is there anybody in the audience who has, or would like to weigh in on petition 5-26? For a second time, is there anybody in the audience who has an opinion, either pro or con, about this petition 5-26? And for a final time, would anybody like to weigh in on 5-26? Okay, well, I am happy to ask the clerk to follow up with Mr. Pandolfo and invite him. We have to, so we'll continue the public hearing. That would be my recommendation. And we will ask him to come here, along with Deputy Chief Young, please, to answer questions. And we can schedule that during the meeting, right?
yeah, that'd be fine, Counselor. I think we may have enough time to squeeze in 626.
Okay. Okay. Petition 6-26, David R. Cormier, Ward 3 Councilor, request to place a streetlight on the telephone pole located in front of 699 Willard Street. This was referred to, this is the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Noseworthy is the clerk, and Councilor Frida is the third member. So this was referred to the Leominster Police Department and the DPW. We have Police Department information back, nothing back from the DPW, I don't think. Yeah, I haven't seen anything from the DPW. But it looks to me to be a straightforward petition. However, we really need to wait for the DPW. But does anybody have any questions on this? And I will go to my committee. Councilor Noseworthy, do you have any questions on this stop sign?
I do not.
Streetlight, pardon me.
Oh, yeah. No, I do not, thank you.
Okay, Councilor Frida.
this isn't usually what we do, isn't it? Just a call to the mayor's office. We can't appropriate funding to do this, so, I mean, we don't approve streetlights usually because we can't fund it. So shouldn't it go through the chair to the
Yeah.
petitioner?
So I actually emailed the mayor's office. I asked him if he would, give an order to Joe Poirier to go put the light up. And they wanted this petition. And I asked why, and they said that National Grid won't put the street light up unless this body votes on it. That's what I was told. Because I said to the mayor's office that it's not really an ordinance or anything like that, and they asked for this petition. So here it is. The constituent just built a new house up there. It's on a curve and it's a little dark at night, and asked for this street light. And I agree with you. I sent an email to the mayor's office and asked them, can you just go, can we put this up? And they asked for this petition. So that's why it's
I'm
here.
not opposed to it. We don't have the power. I mean, the mayor should be sending down a request
Right. Well,
to fund it.
he asked for the petition, so I said, okay.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments on this? My recommendation, I guess, at this point would be to keep it open because we don't have anything back from DPW.
Okay.
Do you have, Council Cormier, do you have anything back, do you have anything in the affirmative back from DPW or Mr.
No.
Poirier himself? No?
No.
We don't have anything back. So I would be more comfortable if we have a positive, a recommendation back from DPW. So my recommendation is to keep it open.
Okay.
And I will go to the audience. Is there anybody who'd like to speak in support of or in opposition to petition 6-26? For a second time, is there anyone who'd like to speak in support of or in opposition to petition 6-26? For a third and final time, is there anybody who would like to speak in support of or in opposition to petition 6-26? Okay, seeing no one, my recommendation is to keep the public hearing open.
Very well. Okay, and we have 6:54. Might as well start 7:26 as well.
Sure. This is a public hearing before the Public Safety and Traffic Committee, petition 7-26. Carrie Noseworthy, Ward 5 Councilor, requests the installation of a four-way stop at the intersection of Abbott Avenue and Lindell Avenue to address ongoing safety concerns. There is, I think everybody has seen, a lot of information from the Leominster Police Department, and I see that the folks most impacted by that in the neighborhood. My understanding was that you were not available until later in September, so that's why Captain Frere is not here tonight to discuss this. So at this point, my recommendation would be to continue the public hearing when Captain Frere is available and when the UMLs can come back. That's how I scheduled it, understanding that you would be back at the end of September.
Our schedule's cleared up. We got out of work earlier than we thought.
Oh,
I called Councilor Noseworthy to let her know I was speeding on my way from New Hampshire.
oh, sorry about that. No,
It's okay.
Yep, we had scheduled it in a different way. Okay, so does anybody,
Okay.
I was going to go to Councilor Noseworthy. Do you have any questions about this, or we'll keep it open and we will?
I guess we would just have to keep it open. I apologize, I did not receive your call, or we would not be in this situation, so my apologies for that. My understanding, like you said, is that we would be here on the 22nd with
Right.
Captain Frere, so
Right, of September.
I do apologize for your inconvenience.
Okay, Councilor Frieda, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you if you want, I have a number of objections to it. Do you want them tonight, or you want them to be held till the next meeting?
I think I'd hold them until the full public hearing when Captain Frere, is here from the police department. He might be able to answer questions or provide some clarity. Okay, good. Anybody else have any questions before we continue the public hearing and close it? Not close it, but continue the public hearing. Okay. Is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in support of or in opposition to petition 7-26? Is there anybody, again, who would like to speak on petition 7-26? And for a third and final time this evening, is there anybody who'd like to speak on 7-26? Seeing no interest, I will recommend that we continue the public hearing.
Okay, very well. It's 6:58. I think I'm going to just wait to open the meeting at 7 o'clock before doing the public forum. So in just a couple of minutes, we'll formally open the meeting. I'll request a motion to go into recess, which I believe will be granted. And then we will go into recess, and the first item of business after the recess will be the public forum. And I'll read the public forum notice and invite people to speak on an agenda item once we're at that point. So just give us a couple minutes, and we'll be back with you. Pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I'll take a roll call of the councilors in attendance, starting with Councilor David Cormier.
Present.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Present.
Councilor Arndinger.
Present.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Present.
Councilor Tossi.
Present.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Present.
Councilor Robbins.
Present.
Councilor Frida.
Present.
I should record myself present. All 9 councilors are in attendance. Does the
Motion
chair?
to recess.
I'm just going to ask the chairwoman of records if she has a report first.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the minutes from August 11th, 2025, I find to be in good order, and I'd ask that they be placed on file. I have a request for a little bit further time on the July 14th, 2025 minutes, and I'd ask that those be put over to the next meeting.
Okay, unless there's any objection, that may be done. Now I'll entertain a motion to go into recess. Councilor Shalfo Zephyr, Councilor Arndinger, all in favor, please recognize usual manner. We are in recess. All right, we'll now conduct the public forum. The public forum is an opportunity for any member of the audience to speak on a matter specifically listed on the council agenda. Speakers will be asked to come to the microphone and state their formal name and address, along with identifying the specific items or items they wish to address. Each speaker is respectfully asked to keep their comments within a 2-minute time frame. The council will not be responding or answering any questions. However, at the discretion of the council president, clarification may be given. We do have a sign-up sheet. The first sign-up is Corey Hassman, and I don't think you want to speak again. That's what I was guessing. And before I announce the next one, we have a fair turnout here tonight, and I have a sneaking suspicion what most of you are here for. I just would say in a prefatory way, please keep your comments. This matter, 926, has a long way to go. And I don't want to foreclose anybody's ability to express themselves on it. And we'll certainly all attentively listen to everything that's presented. But try to be succinct, not repetitive, and respectful of everybody else's positions. And we'll have a successful public forum, I'm sure. The first person that's listed on the sign-up is Bill Brady.
Good evening, councilors.
Good evening.
Good evening. Bill Brady, 214 Harvard Street. I'm here tonight to speak in regards to 9-26. I guess the easiest way to start this with 9-26, this is to return the zoning that was promised us abutters. I have to go back to the history of the Target Mall because this is an integral part of that. When we heard the Target was coming in, it was coming through, nothing we could do, okay, great. We were told there's going to be an industrial part of this. We believed it. The zoning called for commercial, industrial, then residential. This blindsided all of us. We were not individually notified as abutters. I guess maybe you're not aware of it, but if it's an ordinance form, it doesn't require individual abutters, only a notice in the newspaper. I don't know if any of you get it. I assume you would, but let's just say that it's not as subscribed to as once was. But if it was an ordinance, if it was a zoning change, that would require people to be notified.
Just as a point of clarification, Mr. Brady, the ordinance, if it's a zoning ordinance and it's a map change, that requires a certified letter to each abutter. But if it's not a map change, it's a language change as opposed to a rezoning of a particular parcel. That does not require certified notice to the abutters. So that's how it works under the ordinance.
Yeah, all right.
Just for clarification.
Yeah, it's a pretty fine line. Maybe we want to close up that discrepancy at some point.
Okay.
Another thing, assurances. I can't say that, Chair, because it's all new now. But in this general area, when I asked the developer, owner of the land, would there be enough space in between the industrial building and us residents? It literally is in my backyard. So I voted for it when I was on because I was assured that we would have a buffer zone. It would be a substantial buffer zone. That leads to my third is integrity. This entire change, I don't know if everyone on this council was aware of what they were voting for when they voted on it. Everyone kind of put this through as an MBTA community act, and it was just housekeeping, quote unquote. It mattered. Why the city council would want to give up special permit is beyond me. This, as a body, you guys license movie theaters and bowling alleys. Why would you give up a special permit? Why? I'll end it there.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. The next person to sign up is Donna Mollett.
Good evening, Donna Mollett, 58 Sky Lane. Also speaking on 9-26. So similar as my question is that when you see this MU2 zone project that is, as I understand it, the only space in our city that is zoned MU-2. So the conversation about the amendment to return back to the original ordinance language specifically speaks to this one parcel. This one parcel had at one point the multi-use descriptions. I can go back in our records and I can see where it showed the commercial, it showed the residential, and it showed the industrial. And yet, when you look at other times, especially when it was voted on in January, it no longer showed the residential, and now it's back again. And I guess my question is, was the council completely clear when you were voting to change the language for the ordinance, the language change for that specific site, if it meant at that time that you knew that there was residential that was also previously and then post being proposed?
This sprang out of the housing committees working with Montchusett Regional Planning Commission as a solution to the housing crisis as it affected Leominster. So I can pretty much assure you that the entire council realized what they were voting on in January was a housing initiative.
So that's clear. So everybody knew that when you made that change that that was going to result in
I
this?
can't speak for the other 8 councilors, but I can tell you that that is pretty clear to me what we were voting on.
So you're not speaking for everybody? I'm curious to see.
Well, I don't have the right to speak for any, and I'm not really going to have, a back and forth here, but I just wanted to clarify that for you.
I'd like to clarify.
Well, on what point? We're not going to get into a debate, Councilor.
Okay, we'll do that another time.
All right.
So the question that I had was on a lack of transparency that during that time that you were voting on this, Leominster had already met the requirements for the state. The numbers had already been there. If you look on the timing of the Massachusetts requirements for that housing, it had already been met. So I guess it's just peculiar that
it had nothing to do with the MBTA Communities Act. Zero. We passed the MBTA Communities Act as a separate item at a different time.
Oh, I'm sorry. I might have misunderstood what you just said because I thought you said it was in response to that.
Housing, but not the MBTA Communities Act, which is a very specific law that, quite frankly, we had no choice but to enact. In fact, its original iteration had all of the housing in North Leominster. And myself and others worked to make sure that we could get the minimum amount of housing in North Leominster and moved a lot of that housing to South Leominster and off of Route 12 where Riverside Village is. So that was a completely separate item.
Okay. So it was separate. And then, again, my concern is that the housing that was listed on this, as you look back in the plans, disappeared. It disappeared when at different times on the plan, it shows housing and other times it doesn't. So I just want to make sure that everyone on the council knew exactly what you were voting
It's
for.
an interesting point, and this has a long way to go.
Okay.
It's on its way to the planning board in a little while. And there'll be hearings there as well as hearings here. So, I encourage you to continue to participate and ask your questions and get your answers, and we'll do our best to address everything that's presented.
Super, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you. Haley Brady?
Haley Brady, 200 Harvard Street. When I signed it, I thought I was just signing in for here.
You don't have to speak, but you're more than welcome.
You know what? I did have something prepared, so just excuse me if it's not seamless. Good evening, members of the council. I'm here tonight because I believe the recent changes to our MU2 zoning need to be reconsidered. On paper, these changes were presented as necessary for compliance with the MBTA Communities Act, but let's be honest, the state law does not require us to eliminate special permits / buffers, strip away the public's ability to weigh in on massive developments. Those were local choices. By making multifamily housing a by right use in MU2, you've effectively silenced the community. Projects that used to require a full public hearing and could be conditioned or even denied now sail through with only a site plan review. That's not oversight, that's a rubber stamp. Comes at a cost. Our schools are already full, our emergency services are stretched thin, we've lost a labor and delivery unit at our hospital, traffic at the North Leominster station is already at breaking point. Yet, these rules, hundreds of new units, can be approved without this board being able to say, slow down. Worse, the weakened buffers and reduced environmental protections jeopardize wetlands and wildlife that can't be replaced once they're gone. This community is not anti-housing. We understand the need for growth, but growth has to be smart, has to be responsible, and has to be sustainable. Dozens of other cities have complied with the MBTA law by designating more appropriate areas, places with infrastructure, transit access, and less direct impact on neighborhoods. We could have done the same. I urge the council reverse the MU2 changes, restore the safeguards, give the public back a voice in projects that will shape Leominster for generations. Compliance with the state should not come at the expense of our community's character, our services, and our environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Brady. And again, to clarify, this housing does not satisfy the MBTA Communities Act.
I do understand that.
Yeah.
I think the way it was presented and when it was presented, the timeline of such made it seem like it was.
Okay.
It was a very close timeline.
You're correct about that.
And I think there was a lot of confusion with the timeline and how close it was presented, made it seem like we needed to do this in order to satisfy the requirements of that. And that wasn't the case.
Okay, thank you very much. That is the last person who is signed up. Is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on an agenda item this evening? And for a second time, is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on an agenda item this evening? And a third and final time, is there any member of the public that wishes to address the council on an agenda item this evening? Thank you very much. The public forum is closed, and we will now go into matters.
Did you receive a letter that you said you...
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Brady. That is true. I slipped my mind. I did, before we closed the public hearing, a resident of Ward 1 asked me, as he couldn't make it here as a result of some recovery, from some surgery he's going through. So I did point out that I would read his letter into the record. To members of the Leominster City Council, the Planning Board, and Conservation Commission. Subject, Orchard Hill Apartment Project. First, I would like to say thank you for devoting so much of your time and energy to the benefit of the residents of Leominster. You devote countless hours with little or no compensation. Thank you again. I have lived in the Harvard Street neighborhood for more than 50 years and observed the transition from a farm and residential neighborhood to a fast-paced urban environment. We have watched the apple orchards give way to commercial development and the wooded areas become new homes. Change has been drastic. Now we have a new proposal for 300-plus new apartments. The developer carefully planned every step to get city officials to go along. They hired a team of lawyers, architects, surveyors, and environmental consultants to help execute the plan. The taxpayers even resurfaced Harvard Street 1 year before informing the neighborhood of the plan. It's peculiar timing. considering they didn't resurface Harvard Street in the prior 50 years. The developer uses a team of professionals and complicit city officials to push the project forward without informing us. Their major concern was the planning board. Knowing it would be an arduous process to get a special permit, they proposed zoning changes. MU2 allows the developer to bypass special permitting. In January, the city council went for it. Did you understand what the change would mean? Would you have approved it, knowing that you were bypassing the normal permitting and site plan process? There is a wetlands issue. Everyone who is familiar with the site knows that there's a large and important ecological area. I will leave the environmental discussion to others who know more, but I've thought of it as a swamp. The proposal is to manipulate and consolidate the wetlands so the maximum buildable area is available. Over 300 apartments are planned. How many children will be resident? Hundreds? Question mark. Will there be play? Will they play in the swamp or ride their bikes on dangerous and narrow Harvard Street? In conclusion, I ask that members of the City Council and boards oppose this project. Please stand up for the people you represent. Stand up to big money developer and their paid advocates. This project does not make Leominster a better city. Please ask yourselves, would I want this in my neighborhood? If not, please reverse MU2 in the City Council. We ask the Conservation Commission to oppose this disruption of the wetlands as proposed. Respectfully submitted, John Gravel, 51 Parkdale Ave, Leominster. And that concludes our public forum. And we'll now move on to matters before the City Council, or first time on the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Brady, again. Starting with C10.
D&J Mazzarella Mayor requests that an appropriation of $42,000 be made to the transfer station expense account, the same amount to be transferred from the stabilization fund.
C10 is referred to the Chairman of Finance.
First time on the calendar, Mr. President, regular course.
C10 is given regular course. C11.
D&J Mazzarella Mayor requests that the City Council submit a request pursuant to Article 2, Section 8, Paragraph 1, Clause 1 of the amendments of the Constitution as amended by Article 89 that state Senator John Cronin and State Representative Natalie Higgins file special legislation with the General Court on behalf of the city seeking to accept the positions of Police Lieutenant and Police Sergeant from the Civil Service Law, GL, Chapter 31, as follows. An act exempting the positions of Police Lieutenant and Police Sergeant in the City of Leominster from the Civil Service Law, to be enacted by the Senate and the House of Representatives and General Court assembled by the authority of the same as follows. Section 1. The positions of Police Lieutenant and Police Sergeant in the City of Leominster shall be exempt from Chapter 31 of General Laws. Section 2. This act shall take effect upon its passage.
C11 is referred to the Chairwoman of Legal Affairs.
Regular course, Mr. President, with referrals to KP Law and the Police Chief Mulattoes.
And I'm going to suggest, Counselor, a public hearing on this September 8th at 6 o'clock, if that's okay.
What else do we have that night?
We have 10 possible public hearings. I'm going to suggest at 9:26, which is your petition, along with Councilor Tossi and Councilor Robbins, we won't be anywhere near ready for that because it has to go to the Planning Board, of course, first, before we can hear it. So other than that one, we're going to have potentially at least 9 public hearings.
Okay.
Many of, excuse me, we're in session. So I think most of them are relatively minor matters, fortunately, so I think we could probably muscle through the other 9 on the 8th. So, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you want to do a different date?
I would. I think this isn't one of the small ones. I mean, this is.
No, it's not.
So I would maybe.
Second meeting of September?
Or the first in October. I mean, this is I think.
Why do we want to delay it that long? Is there
What else do we have for the second meeting in September?
Nothing so far.
We have nothing so far? Okay, then I would go to the second meeting.
All right.
And the Planning Board is having theirs on, I believe, the 15th. No, not for this one, I'm sorry.
No, they don't have it. No, that's a different matter.
Sorry.
It's going to get complicated. So the second meeting would be the 22nd of September?
Yep.
All right, so...
Yes.
Is it? Yep.
So why don't we say 6:25, 9:22? Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Council Tossi, you okay with that?
Yes.
Council Cormier?
Yes.
All right, all those in favor of scheduling the public hearing on C11 for September 22nd at 6:25 PM, please recognize usual manner. All right, that may be done. Moving on to petitions, first time on the agenda, and 8-26.
Elizabeth Dorn, City Clerk, requested the City Council grant the attached election order for September 16th, 2025 municipal election. It's actually for the municipal primary election.
All right, so that's referred to the chairwoman of Ways and Means.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, would it make sense to amend this now to say municipal primary election?
I think it would be municipal preliminary election, correct?
Municipal preliminary, isn't that what I said?
Yeah, we can do that now.
Yeah.
You said primary.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry to be so picky.
I'll
No,
second
I'm
her
sorry.
motion.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of amending, please indicate in the usual manner. All right, it's amended, and this doesn't require a public hearing, right?
No.
So it's just regular course.
It's regular course, thank you.
All right, moving on to 9:26.
Susan Shalfo Zephyr, Brandon Robbins, Councilors at Large, Ward 1, Councilor Robert M. Tossi, and 10 registered voters, request to amend the zoning ordinance pertaining to MU2 zoning.
9:26, refer to the chairwoman of Ways and Means.
Regular course, please, with referrals to the Planning Board, Planning Director, Montezut Regional Planning Commission, and KP Law.
Okay, and as I indicated earlier, it will be a while before we hear from the planning board, I would think, on this one. So I don't think we should be putting this on the next meeting. Is there a particular date you want to do this?
We could put it on the 22nd.
Okay. So why don't we do that at, let's put it on at 6:30. And is that Councilor Frida?
Through the chair to the chair of legal affairs. I think it's important that we have Joe Boyle from MIPC, Elizabeth, and John Souza for that hearings, because all those questions are going to come up at the same time.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, we're doing referrals to them, so when we schedule our public hearing, which we will later in the meeting, now, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we should definitely tell them that they'll be expected to show up.
They're all their agencies have been part of the referral, but I think it's a good point that we want those specific people here.
Well, we had a lot of references to the housing committee, so I want Joe Boyle to be here. That was his.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, so if the clerk will note, along with those agencies that specifically want those individuals to attend.
Got it.
Okay. And Councilor Tossi, you okay with 9:22 at 6:30?
Yes.
And Councilor Pauline Cormier?
Yes.
All right, any further discussion? All right, all those in favor of giving 9:26 regular course, scheduling a public hearing on September 22nd at 6:30 PM with referrals to the Planning Board, the Planning Director, MRPC, and KP Law with those specific individuals. I believe it was Joe Boyle, Elizabeth Wood, and John Souza, right?
Yep.
All in favor, please indicate usual manner. All right, that may be done. Moving on to 10-26.
David R. Cormier, Ward 3 Councilor, requests to amend Chapter 13, Motor Vehicles and Traffic, Section 13-75, entitled Speed Limits, Specific Streets, and add the following: Old Mill Road from Willard Street to Jungle Road at 25 miles per hour.
1026 is referred to the Chairman of Ways and Means.
Regular course, please, with referrals to the Leominster Police Department Traffic Department and the DPW.
Okay, and we're going to do this on 9/8, I would imagine. All right, so I'm going to suggest September 8th at, let's start the meeting at 6:15, if that's okay. Counselor Tossi, you okay with that?
Yes.
And Counselor Pauline Cormier?
I agree.
All right, so 1026, given regular course with a public, the proposed public hearing is September 8th at 6:15 PM. All those in favor, please indicate in the usual manner. All right, that may be done. Moving on to 1226.
John Frere, Captain 116 Central Street, Leominster Police Department, request to amend Section 13-88.3, right turn restriction by adding the following. No driver of a vehicle traveling northbound on Central Street at the intersection of Pleasant Street and Park Street shall make a right turn onto Monument Square.
All right, 1226 is referred to the Chairwoman of Legal Affairs.
Regular course, Mr. President, with referral to the DPW. In his letter, Captain Frere noted that he is in charge of the traffic department, the Leominster Police Department, so it doesn't have to go back to them. So I would just refer to the DPW.
All right, and 9/8 at 6:17 PM, okay?
Sure.
All right, Counselor Tossi, you okay with that?
Yes.
Counselor Cormier?
Yes.
All those in favor of establishing the public hearing on September 8th at 6:17 PM on 12-26, please recognize the usual manner. All right, moving on to 13-26.
John Frere, Captain 116 Central Street, Leominster Police Department, request to amend Section 13-88.2, right lane must turn right, by adding the following. Monument Square, northbound onto Mechanic Street.
13-26 is referred to the Chairwoman of Legal Affairs.
Regular course, Mr. President, with referral to the DPW.
Okay, and I'm going to suggest 9/8 at 6:20. Counselor Tossi? You good with that?
There we go. Hat
Counselor
trick.
Cormier?
I agree.
It's unanimous. All those in favor of establishing the public hearing at 9/8 at 6:20, please recognize the usual manner. Counselor Freed, I didn't know if you were going to add a point or you were voting
No, I
prematurely.
was just ready to vote.
All right, very good. Moving on to 14-26.
John Frere, Captain 116 Central Street, Leominster Police Department, requests repealing Section 13-62, parking meter zones, 2 hours. Then amending Section 13-44, same, between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. by adding the following. Central Street west side from a point 100 feet southerly from the intersection with Pleasant Street to a point with 275 feet from the intersection with Pleasant Street. Central Street west side from a point 345 feet from the intersection of Pleasant Street and Monument Square to a point 310 feet from the intersection of Central and Union Streets. Central Street east side from a point 275 feet from the southerly corner of Eaton Place and Lancaster Street and proceeding northerly along the easterly side of Central Street to a point 30 feet southerly from the intersection of Central Street and Manning Ave. Church Street east side from West Street to the police station, Depot Square west side from 25 feet from Water Street north to Miriam Ave, Main Street east side and west sides beginning at a point 100 feet from the intersection of Main and Mechanic Streets and proceeding to a point 80 feet southerly from the intersection of Main Street and Miriam Ave. Main Street east side from a point 70 feet north of the intersection of Main Street and Miriam Ave to a point 25 feet south from the intersection of Main and Columbia Streets. Main Street west side from a point 80 feet northerly of the intersection of Main Street and Miriam Ave and extending northerly along Main Street to a point 145 feet from the intersection of Main Street and Miriam Ave. Mechanic Street north side from 275 easternly from the intersection of Main Street and Mechanic Street to a point 405 feet. Mechanic Street south side from 245 feet easternly from the intersection of Main Street and Mechanic Street to a point 285 feet. Miriam Ave north side to a point 20 feet from corner of Church Street and a point 20 feet from Grove Avenue running westerly for a difference of 535 feet. Miriam Ave south side from a point 70 feet easterly of the intersection of Main Street and Miriam Ave and extending in an easterly direction to a point which is opposite to the intersection of the westerly side of Columbia Street and Miriam Ave. Park Street, west side, from a point 100 feet from the intersection of Park and Pleasant Streets to a point 205 feet from the intersection of Park and Pleasant Streets. Park Street, east side, from a point 50 feet from the intersection of Park Street and Monument Square to a point 265 feet from the intersection of Park Street and Monument Square. Pearl Street, north side, to a point 225 feet westerly of the intersection of Pleasant Street and Pearl Street. Pearl Street, south side, to a point 82 feet westerly of the intersection of Pleasant Street with Pearl Street. Pleasant Street, north side, from a point 90 feet of the intersection of Pleasant and Park Streets to a point 160 feet from the intersection of Pleasant and Park Streets. West Street, north side, from a point 85 feet from the intersection of West and Main Streets and extending westerly along West Street to a point 60 feet from the intersection of West and Park Streets. West Street, north side, from a point 43 feet west of Church Street and extending westerly 42 feet. West Street, north side, from a point 22 feet west from the intersection of School Street, westerly to a point 20 feet east from Gardner Place. West Street, north side, to a point 495 feet westerly of the intersection of West Street with Main Street. West Street, south side, to a point of 548 feet westerly of the intersection of West Street with Main Street. West Street, south side, from a point 95 feet from the intersection of West and Main Streets and proceeding in a westerly direction to a point in which 265 feet from the intersection of Main and West Streets. West Street, south side, from a point 95 feet from the intersection of Park and West Streets and extending westerly 80 feet.
I would have preferred C Exhibit A, the ordinance book. What's the number of this thing?
1426.
1426 is referred to the Chairwoman of Legal Affairs.
Regular course, Mr. President, with a referral to the DPW. And I think that we will absolutely need Captain Frere here for the public hearing on this. And I think we should bump this one out into October. I think we've got too much going on, the two meetings in September.
All right, I can go along with that. So what's our first meeting date in October?
It's Columbus Day, which is, it would be Tuesday the 14th, right, because Columbus Day is on Monday.
All right, so 10/14 at 6:30?
That sounds good.
Okay. All right, so you okay with that, Councilor Tossi?
Yes.
And Councilor Pauline Cormier?
I agree.
All right, so the recommendation by Legal Affairs is to give regular course with referral to the DPW and have Captain, right, Frere, attend, and the public hearing on October 14th at 6:30. All in favor, please recognize you in a manner. That may be done. Moving on to 15-26.
Elizabeth Wood, Director of Planning and Development, on behalf of the Planning Board, requests to amend the zoning ordinance pertaining to battery energy storage systems.
15-26 is referred to the Chairwoman of Legal Affairs.
A regular course with referrals to KP Law, and we did get the, I'm just double checking one thing. Yeah, the Planning Board already voted on this. KP Law and the Leominster Fire Department.
Okay.
My recommendation would be to bump this one to the October meeting as well.
All right, well, we've got, right now, all these things may take a little bit, we'll probably all go over, but what do we have on the 8th so far? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 relatively light traffic stuff. You really think we need to go with this one, too?
But what else is on there? I thought
We're going to have 626, which I think was, one of those was the propane, and the other one was 526, which was...
526 is the propane.
What is it?
626
Is David's on the street light, right? Which is, again, relatively, I mean, it's up to you. I mean, I think we can get it all done. If you prefer to do it in October, we'll do it in October. Or, I don't think we want to do it on the 22nd. I think it's either the 8th or the October date.
Right.
Councilor Frida, you have a suggestion?
Yeah, just while you're trying to figure out how much time you need, I think this is going to end up being a very, very important petition. There's a lot of controversy in a lot of other communities with this.
About this stuff, yeah.
You know, the susceptibility of blowing up. There's a lot of issues with this. I know there are a couple of elected officials I've spoken with in the past, and there's some real issues with it. You know, whether it's narrow what, there's no direction from the planning board on this one where they want to put it. They want to get the ordinance in before they have any sites. Then there are
October?
There are some there are some issues that you know, have been pretty serious. Now, water supplies, it's contentious in a lot of communities, so we need to be careful with that one.
All right, why don't we do October 14th?
Sorry.
Oh, Councilor Robbins?
Councilor Frida's point made me think, if that has been an issue, is it worth getting a recommendation from the Conservation Commission or the conservation agent as well? Conservation.
Why not?
Why not? I agree. Why not?
We'll refer it to Jesse Averka, who is the conservation agent.
Right.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to suggest October 14th at 6:10.
Yep.
Okay.
Sounds good, thank you.
Councilor Tossi?
I agree.
Councilor Cormier?
I agree.
All those in favor of establishing that public hearing, please indicate in the usual manner. All right, so that's 15-26 is October 14th at 6:10 p.m. All right, moving on to matters before the City Council and the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We began on July 1st, 2025 in the capital stabilization account with $4,593,191.62. We have spent $2,261,190 to date, and that leaves us with a balance of $2,332,001.62. The opioid stabilization, we began with a balance of $577,545.87. We so far have spent $81,923.06, which leaves us with a balance of $495,622.81. In the City of Leominster Stabilization Fund, we began with a balance of $24,086,485.59. We've already had a couple of expenditures on July 14th, and pending the one we have on there tonight for the first time, if that's approved, we will have spent $1,147,000, and that leaves us with a balance of $22,939,485.59. And that is the financial report.
Any questions? Okay, moving on to Ways and Means and C-9. Is the chairwoman ready to report?
I am, Mr. President. Thank you. This is C-9. Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the confirmation of Corey Hasselman to the position of Veterans Director for the City of Leominster for a term of 3 years effective September 2nd, 2025. We had the opportunity to interview Mr. Hasselman this evening. He has a very impressive resume. I'm intrigued by his program reaching out to younger veterans. He comes very highly recommended. He has a solid resume. He has a solid background. It would be my recommendation that we grant the appointment of Mr. Hasselman, and I'd ask you to check with members of my committee.
Councilor Arndinger?
I agree.
And Councilor David Cormier?
I also agree.
You've heard the unanimous recommendation of the Ways and Means Committee to confirm the appointment. This will be by roll call unless there's any discussion. Starting with Councilor David Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Arndinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Tossi.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Frida.
Yay.
And I shall be recorded as yay. Congratulations. Best of luck.
We do have a way of attracting Marines to these positions, though.
Apparently. Moving on to legal affairs, starting with C8. Is the chairwoman ready to report?
C8, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the City Council vote to approve the attached Veterans Tax Work-Off Program. We closed the public hearing earlier this evening. We did get a referral back from the comptroller, and I'll read that quickly. There was a question about how it would be administered, and the question was answered by the comptroller. She said, dated August 25th, good afternoon. Unfortunately, the tax bill offset cannot be implemented for the Veterans Work-Off Program. Payments to participants are considered income and require tax holdings, which cannot be managed through a direct credit on the tax bill. So that was my question. That's what was holding up my recommendation. So based on that, my recommendation would be to grant C-8, and I ask that you hold my committee.
Councilor Tosi?
I agree.
Councilor Pauline Cormier?
I agree.
You heard the unanimous recommendation of Legal Affairs to grant C-8. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of granting C-8, please indicate in the usual manner. C-8 is granted by a vote of 9-0. Moving on to 3-26.
3-26, Glenn Eaton, Executive Director, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, request to amend the zoning ordinance to replace Article 15, accessory apartments, with a new Article 15 that complies with recently passed state law, and make other changes to implement the new ordinance. So this has a public hearing on September 8th at 6:30 p.m. So my recommendation would be to give this further time.
All right. Councilor Tosi?
I agree.
Councilor Cormier?
I agree.
You've heard the unanimous recommendation of the Legal Affairs Committee to give 3-26 further time. There's a public hearing on 9/8 at what time? 6:30.
6:30.
That doesn't conflict with anything we've done so far, right? No, it doesn't. All right. All in favor? Please indicate usual manner. All right. So that's further time by vote of 9-0. Moving on to 4-26.
4-26, Glenn Eaton, Executive Director, Montechusett Regional Planning Commission, request to amend the zoning ordinance to add the MFOD, Multifamily Overlay District, to the abbreviations table for overlay districts in Article 3. We heard from Mr. Joseph Boyle from MRPC earlier during the public hearing, and it's a housekeeping kind of change. It's just adding the MFOD to the list of abbreviations for the districts. My recommendation would be to grant 4-26, and I ask that you poll my committee.
Councilor Tosi?
I agree.
And Councilor Pauline Cormier?
I agree.
You've heard the unanimous recommendation of Legal Affairs to grant 4-26. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, this will be by roll call, starting with Councilor David Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Arndinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Tosi.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Frida.
Yay.
I be recorded as yay. 4-26 has been granted by a vote of 9-0. Moving on to 5-26.
I know that we voted on that, but can I just make one more?
Sure.
We did also get a referral back from KP Law, in which Brian Riley, our attorney, he classified this petition is in proper form and may be viewed as more of a housekeeping amendment. I just want to get that into the record because I didn't read it earlier.
That's okay. Very well. All right. We're off to 5-26.
All right. 5-26, Joe Pandolfo, on behalf of Golden Nozzle Car Wash and Nori Energy, 468 Main Street, Leominster, Mass., requests a petition to obtain an underground fuel storage license for a total of 3 1,000-gallon underground storage tanks for heating at the Golden Nozzle Car Wash located at 468 Main Street. We were unable to attain a natural gas service from National Grid due to a street opening moratorium placed on Main Street by the state of Massachusetts. The state will not allow us to excavate or disturb the existing asphalt paving on Main Street. Therefore, we were forced to switch our fuel source to propane. Eastern Propane has been contracted to supply the underground storage tanks. The City of Leominster Fire Department and Deputy Chief Ryan Young has granted a 2,000 gallons permit for underground storage. The Fire Department has also allowed Eastern Propane to set an additional underground 1,000 gallon tank on the site. on the condition that we obtain the 3,000-gallon underground propane storage permit. We have attached a copy of the agreement from the fire department along with a plan showing the location of the 3 tanks. So after our public hearing early this evening, which we kept open, some questions were raised. We will invite Mr. Pandolfo along with Deputy Chief Mr. Young to come down, and that is on 9/8. At what time?
Let's do that one at, let's see, the first one. Let's do that at 6:10.
Okay. So my recommendation would be further time.
All right. Councilor Tossi?
I agree.
And Councilor Pauline Cormier?
I agree.
You heard the unanimous recommendation, which is to give 5-26 further time, schedule or continue the public hearing to September 8th at 6:10 p.m. All in favor, please indicate in usual manner. All right, that may be done. Moving on to the Public Safety and Traffic Committee. Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr is very busy tonight. 6:26.
6:26, David R. Cormier, Ward 3 Councilor, request to place a streetlight on the telephone pole located in front of 699 Willard Street. We had a public hearing earlier this evening, and we decided to keep the public hearing open as we have not received a referral back from the DPW. So my recommendation would be for further time.
Okay. And can we do this on September 8th at 6:05? What do we got? 6:15 already. Let's do it. Yeah, let's do it at 6:05.
Yeah.
Okay, Councilor Tossi?
I think so.
You're agreeable sort tonight. Councilor Cormier?
Yes.
All right, so the recommendation is further time with a continued public hearing on 6-26 on September 8th at 6:05 p.m. All in favor, please indicate usual manner. All right, so that may be done. Moving on to 7-26.
7-26, Carrie Noseworthy, Ward 5 Councilor, requests the installation of a four-way stop at the intersection of Abbott Avenue and Lindell Avenue to address ongoing safety concerns. We left our public hearing open earlier this evening. We've invited Captain Frere down on the 22nd. So my recommendation is for further time, and we need to schedule a time on the 22nd.
All right, so let's see, we have, the first matter I think we have on the 22nd is 6:25. Why don't we schedule it for 6:20 on the 22nd? All right, Councilor Tossi, once again.
I agree.
You're perfect tonight. Councilor Cormier?
I will make it unanimous.
Excellent. You've heard the unanimous recommendation by this Public Safety Committee to give 7-26 further time with a continued public hearing to September 22nd at 6:20 p.m. All those in favor, please recognize usual manner. Anyone opposed? By a vote of 9-0, that may be done. Moving on to new business in the first reading of an ordinance. Is the Chairwoman of Legal Affairs
I am.
prepared?
First reading of an ordinance, C-94, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an increase of $2,000 for Leominster School Committee members with an annual cost of living increase based on the Consumer Price Index. This increase would begin at the start of the next term. We do have the ordinance language, and I'll read it. In the year 2025, an ordinance, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Leominster as follows, amending Chapter 2 of the revised ordinances entitled Administration. Chapter 2, Article 28 of the revised ordinances entitled School Committee is hereby amended by deleting Section 2-111, in quotes, compensation in its entirety, and inserting in its place the following text. The salary of each member of the school committee shall be $4,000 per year, effective January 1, 2026. Effective January 1, 2027, and on an annual basis thereafter, a percentage increase of the school committee salary will be established, consistent with the annual Consumer Price Index, the CPI-U, of the previous calendar year, with a minimum of no increase and a maximum increase of 5%. I would ask that the council adopt the first reading of this ordinance.
Councilor Tossi.
I agree.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
I will make it unanimous.
Any further discussion? This will be by roll call, starting with Councilor David Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Pauline Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Arndinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Tosse.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Frida.
Yay.
I'll be recorded as yay. C, the first reading is granted by a vote of 9-0. Moving on to old business and a second reading of an ordinance.
Second reading of an ordinance, petition 1-26, Ward 2 Councilor Pauline M. Cormier and at-large Councilor Brandon Robbins. Request to move pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 89, Section 9, and Leominster Municipal Code /Ordinances, Section 13-79 yield signs, designating Mechanic Street southwesterly across the street from the most southerly point of the Mechanic Street Delta Island as a yield street, be amended to a full stop sign and designated as a stop street as defined by and pursuant to Section 13-77. So in the year 2025, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Leominster as follows. Amending Chapter 13 of the revised ordinances entitled Motor Vehicles and Traffic. Section 13-79 of the revised ordinances entitled Yield Signs is hereby amended by deleting the following text in its entirety. Mechanic Street, southwesterly across the street from the most southerly point of the Mechanic Street Delta Island. And Chapter 13 is further amended in Section 13-77, stop signs, by inserting the following. Mechanic Street, southwesterly across the street from the most southerly point of the Mechanic Street Delta Island. My recommendation would be to adopt the second reading, and I would ask the approval committee.
Okay. I think it's the last time.
I think it's the last one, yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
Excellent. Councilor Pauline Cormier?
I agree.
You've heard the unanimous recommendation of the Legal Affairs Committee to adopt the second reading of formally 1-26. Any discussion? Seeing none, this will be by roll call. Councilor David Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Pauline Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Arndinger?
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Yay.
Councilor Tosse?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Frida?
Yay.
I'll be recorded as yay. The second reading is adopted by a vote of 9-0. Any additional new or old business? Seeing none, any community calendar? Motion to adjourn. 1-2, all in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Boy, get all those hearing dates. We got a lot of hearings coming up.
The Carolus Insurance Agency at www.decarolisinsuranceagency.com and by Avidia Bank at www.avidiabank.com.